the moment. This is the moment when London, when the UK, when the Commonwealth says thank you to Her Majesty, who is out on the balcony of Buckingham Palace with the King.
In 2022, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II became the first British monarch to celebrate a Platinum Jubilee, marking her 70th anniversary on the throne. As Canada's longest reigning monarch, Government of Canada and partner initiatives has been celebrating Her Majesty's historic reign throughout the year and across the country.
Dostlar oynaylı keçki maçetta kalmasın. Kiminle dostlar oynaylı keçki maçetta kalmasın. Kimin aile kimde bolsa koyu berin oynasın. Kimin aile kimde bolsa koyu berin oynasın. Bu yanıya taşlap oynasın. Bu yanıya taşlap oynasın. Bu yanıya taşlap oynasın. Bu yanıya taşlap oynasın. Çarçıda aslan
血干自己，把我民族意识嘛，牵着对面，只唱着这该有脸子，网友这骨头只传面子，我要面子，用我的方式改写一部历史，没什么别的事，跟着我年轻个子，山有胆鬼过气够，山有胆鬼过气够，跟我抓一把重要，附加一点骄傲。自己有真，别别打开，动作记住自在，不学不来，你懂得在摆动，怎么状态，怎么你的就是准备醒来，自己有真，别别打开，动作动作超白，美丽全开，我在开点，不去对白，自己停下来，跟 变成什么单，变成什么玩，路到这边不能再把老师放的时候不能再有乱吵，为领导云南朋友还有冬虫夏草，自己的音乐自己的要分辨非常好，听我说中药过，朝鲜应该更过，看翻个本草纲目都看一些三本书，战术不容易翻过江湖，这些老祖宗的辛苦我们一定不能输，就是这个光，就是这个光，一起唱，就是这个光，就是这个光，让我来当个边防，在这里美化的脸上一张个千人防，一点也不知道的力量，走进入这两个大牌，不足记住这场热血不来，我在拍的直到状态，最棒的战术准备醒来，走进入这两个大牌，不输我是插班，美丽全开，我在拍地，你却对白，记住你拿下来，感谢离开。
Dating back to 1926, when Princess Elizabeth was born, it was never expected that she would become queen. Her father was King George V's second son. It was thought she would live the life of a very minor royal. When her uncle unexpectedly quit the throne, he laid the path for her to become the longest-serving monarch in UK history. With the sudden death of her father, King George VI, her life changed overnight. Princess Elizabeth acceded to the throne aged just 25.
Back in England, she is officially proclaimed Queen Elizabeth II.
Elizabeth Alexandra Mary is now, by the death of our late sovereign of happy memory, become Queen Elizabeth II.
And on June 2nd, 1953, 27 million people in the UK and millions more worldwide watch in awe as St. Edward's crown is majestically placed on the new Queen of Canada and head of the Commonwealth.
Over a period spanning more than 70 years, Queen Elizabeth met more than a dozen US presidents. And 12 Canadian prime ministers. The Queen's famous red boxes carried the state papers, which Her Majesty was presented with every day of her working life. Her duties included formally agreeing to make bills into acts of parliament or laws.
In 1931, the British Parliament passes the Statute of Westminster, giving Canada autonomy while still sharing the same monarch. 115 years later, Queen Elizabeth II signs Canada's new constitution, giving the country the power to change the document without Britain's approval. This is the final step to Canada's complete independence, while preserving Elizabeth's role as Queen of Canada.
The moment the Queen puts her signature on this document, it becomes law. It will be witnessed later. The Constitution is now home. A fanfare in the background, as you can hear.
Are you ready to party?
Take
Travel in the UK and overseas dominated much of the Queen's working life. It was her presence in these places during her many official visits which carried the most significance for those who lived there.
Queen Elizabeth is the world's most traveled monarch. Having visited 110 countries across 6 continents during her 70-year reign. As Queen of Canada, she officially visits her second home a record 22 times, more than any other Commonwealth country.
The Queen's first official visit to Canada is in 1957, and her last in 2010. As part of a conscious effort to see all provinces and territories, the Queen developed an extensive knowledge of Canada and an appreciation for its diverse peoples. She frequently described Canada as her home.
In my lifetime, Canada's development as a nation has been remarkable. This vast, rich and varied country has inspired its own and attracted many others by its adherence to certain values. Some are enshrined in law, but I should imagine just as many are simply found in the hearts of ordinary Canadians. Commitment to freedom, fairness, and the rule of law are commonly and rightly associated with this nation. These are just some of the attributes that animate Canadians at home and abroad, not least in the service of peace. I shall continue to take the greatest pride in being your Queen now and in the years to come.
你在做什么？唱歌啊 ！One time, yeah yeah sure. DJ boy, One two three go. 你的童年，我的童年，好像风一样，小小肩膀，大大书包，上呀上学堂。新的时代，新的主张，新新的模样，快乐学习德智体美，个个皆想象。老道的话可以不可以不讲？给我一片自由自在的人人广场，让我们自己创造，也许会更好。不知不觉就会超过你们的想象。我说妈妈呀，哎呀，可不可以让我有个可以完全放肆的角落？放放放肆的角落，有许许多多漫画和我最爱选择的那耳朵。现在一切只是意外，老师竟然夸我是个天才。啊，可自你的老板无处不在，请你说话，本领收在，不见不见不见不该呀。你的童年，我的童年，好像都一样。小小肩膀，大大书包，上呀上学堂。新的时代，新的主张，新新的模样，快乐学习，大家体每个个是想象。老道的话可以不可以不讲？给我一片自由自在的人人广场，让我们自己创造，也许会更好。不知不觉就会超过你们的想象。事实上，我什么什么对的了，也像错了一样，就好像我们好像就比较容易让他们去紧张。真的好像，如果不像是条常人一样自由自在，天空飞翔，没有忘了叫我起床。啊，不是不是，不能这样，好好学习，跟着体美样，这无论喜欢我真的爱你。你就是你，我就是我，个性的张扬，在小路有书在此处，也不敢说谎上。充满有爱，充满幻想，充满时尚。阳光男孩，阳光女孩，阳光在成长。
The Queen saw public and voluntary service as one of the most important elements of her work. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II was the patron of more than 600 charities and organizations, including 36 in Canada, reflecting her interests such as education, health, science, the environment, and the arts. As an example, the Canadian Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Scholarships has provided funding to 106 projects administered by 46 Canadian universities. And more than 2,200 scholarships have been awarded since its inauguration in 2012. As royal patron or president, the Queen provided vital publicity for the work of these organizations and allowed their enormous contributions to society to be recognized. The Queen held a privileged relationship with the Canadian Armed Forces, well beyond her constitutional role as Commander-in-Chief of Canada's military. She served as Colonel-in-Chief, Captain General, and Air Commodore-in-Chief for 16 regiments and units across Canada. Her late Majesty was also the Commissioner-in-Chief of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police dating back to 2012. Previously, she had been Honorary Commissioner of the RCMP from 1953 to 2012, making her the RCMP's longest-serving member.
个穿着复古西装，拿着手指弹着魔法乐章，漫步走在山门里的被水泛起的时光，望不到边界的帝国，永远不阻止的王座。我用金钱传说1920错过的不说，偏见是那玛格丽特被我变做了苹果，超现实的是我还是他原本生活的小丑，多是烟斗的烟斗，脸上的鸽子霓虹飞走，请你记得他这个画家不知什么调酒。自由不羁的水墨，画图优雅的双腿是这一种笔尖的隐没，漂洋过海的乡愁种在一无所有的温柔，寂寞的指头才能长出长与摇的小城静静我们巴黎市的海岸，星空下的夜晚，叫别梵谷点燃梦寐的太短暂，能在桥上呐喊，这世上的
I have watched with enormous admiration how Canada has grown and matured while remaining true to its history, its distinctive character, and its values.
La plus véritable démocratie est une démocratie où les minorités peuvent s'épanouir.
Je n'ai pour tout bien que mon cœur, et je l'ai donné à mon pays il y a longtemps.
Someday, this country will come of age, and all people, whatever their national differences, will unite as one nation.
We must open the doors, and we must see to it they remain open so that others can pass through.
I am a Canadian, a free Canadian, free to speak without fear, free to worship God in my own way, free to stand for what I think right, free to oppose what I believe wrong, free to choose those who shall govern my country.
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee is a celebration of her 70 years of steadfast service to Canada and to Canadians. Depuis 70 ans, Sa Majesté la Reine Elizabeth II témoigne de l'évolution du Canada comme nation inclusive et tournée vers l'avenir. Throughout her reign, Canada has continued to grow into a modern, diverse nation.
holding on too tight. Head up in the clouds, heaven only knows where you are now. How do I love again? How do I trust again? I stay up all night, tell myself I'm alright. Baby, you're just harder to see than most. I put the record on, wait till I hear our song. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Never got the chance to say the last goodbye. I gotta move on, but it hurts to try. How do I love again? How do I trust again? I stay up all night, tell myself I'm alright. Baby, you're just harder to see than most. I put the record on, wait till I hear our song. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. How do I love again? How do I trust again? I stay up all night, tell myself I'm alright. Baby, you're just harder to see than most. I put the record on, wait till I hear our song. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost. Every night I'm dancing with your ghost.
Shepard Smith at CBC Global Headquarters. We interrupt regular programming to announce that the Royal Palace has just informed Great Britain's Queen Elizabeth II has died.
Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
The Queen had just celebrated her 70th anniversary on the throne as the longest-serving monarch in history.
It is with the deepest of sorrow that we learn today of the passing of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. She was our Queen for almost half of Canada's existence, and she had an obvious, deep, and abiding love and affection for Canadians. She served us all with strength and wisdom for 70 years as we grew into the diverse, optimistic, responsible, ambitious, and extraordinary country we are today.
There is a motto which has been borne by many of my ancestors, a noble motto: I serve. Those words were an inspiration to many bygone heirs to the throne when they made their nightly dedication as they came to manhood. I cannot quite do as they did, but through the inventions of science, I can do what was not possible for any of them. I can make my solemn act of dedication with a whole empire listening. I should like to make that dedication now. It is very simple. I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service and to the service of our great imperial family to which we all belong.
After 4 full days of lying in state, the coffin of Queen Elizabeth left Westminster Hall at 10:44 for the short journey to Westminster Abbey for a state funeral. The Queen's children, and behind them her grandchildren, lined up to walk behind the coffin. At the Abbey, dozens of world leaders had gathered, abandoning their diaries, President Macron amongst them. President Biden given dispensation to use his bomb-proof car. But inside the Abbey, Commonwealth leaders and royalty took precedence. Former Prime Ministers together again, as they were for the Accession Council, proclaiming Charles king just over a week ago. Some of London's busiest routes closed, lined with people throwing flowers, cheering, and then through more blocked-off roads until the hearse, now peppered with flowers, was joined by an escort of guards for the long walk to the castle, watched by thousands.
The King would later place the Queen's company colour on her coffin, moments before it was lowered into the vault.
your